Did I show you the red hourglass on the stomach?
Higby, if you don't get rid of that thing, I am taking a walk. Do you understand?
I can't. It cost me $12. See? That's how you can tell it's a girl.
Yuck. Ugly.
Now listen to this. Here. Hold it. Now hold it. Just take it. Just take it and put it down over there. That's it. Now, some Northern California Indians believed it was a curse of some kind transmitted down through the female line. Once bitten by the spider, the woman, periodically, but only during the cycle of the full moon, makes the transformation into an incredibly large spider.
Hello everyone, I'm Sam Pancake and welcome to Sam Pancake Presents the Monday Afternoon Movie. Our movie this week is Curse of the Black Widow from 1977, and I'm thrilled and delighted to have one of my besties, Drew Droege, as our guest. Drew, how are you?
Hi, Sam. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. Tell me about yourself, dear.
Oh my God, tell me about, okay, I am just, I'm everywhere. I don't even know. When is this coming out?
Well, you're an actor.
I'm an actor.
And a writer.
Yes.
And
Yes.
You're, a celebrity. You're very well known for
Very
many
famous.
things, and
Yes.
you are a national treasure, as many of us
you.
know. So thank you for doing this today.
Thank you.
We have a busy schedule.
It's so busy.
And you and I
So
need to
much.
have a bitch lunch.
We need a bitch lunch
and
together.
catch up. So I know you're going to have a lot to say about Curse of the Black
my
Widow.
God.
I'm going to pull the string and just let you go.
First of all, I cannot believe I've never seen this movie. I've never heard of this movie. Thank you so much. You know me so well. There were so many times that I was watching it going, Sam knows me. And it was as if it was made just for me to enjoy. I can't recommend it enough. I was hooked from the jump. It's so great. Okay. Can we, and obviously spoilers.
This is a spoiler full zone.
Okay, great. Because we have to,
It's
right?
50 years old, It's on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So from the get-go, I also love a TV movie that starts with a scene before the credits. That was
Cold open,
ahead
yeah.
of its time.
Yes.
The cold open, and I was like, "That's cool." It starts at a bar. It's very cold open. It's these really weird guys who are talking at the bar, and there's a mysterious, blurry woman named Vanessa.
No,
Victoria.
Valerie.
Valerie. That's it.
Stefan.
Valerie Stefan. So okay, and she's at the bar. She needs help with getting her keys or finding her keys or something.
Car won't start.
It's something like that. And so she leaves and then she comes back and grabs one of the men. And then as that one man walks out with Valerie Stefan, the other man is at the bar and he goes, yeah. And I was already like, I'm into this. Of course.
The accent, she has an accent which is later described as European.
It's so weird. It's horrible. It's like Peter Cook in Princess Bride. It's that horrible, human, Russian, something baby, Maine. I don't know what the fuck it's supposed to be. It's awful.
Which one's yours?
I would prefer not to drive home alone.
Anyway, the man outside gets murdered by a woman whose eyes turn into
yellow.
Jello. They turn yellow into gel caps.
Yeah, and then the girl with kaleidoscope eyes
Yes.
goes crazy. He's terrified. Something pierces his chest. Movie opens, and it's Curse of the Black Widow. It's no spoiler to go right away. Anyone who knows Patty Duke is in this movie that's Patty Duke in that black wig with the bad accent at the beginning. It turns out her name is Laura Lockridge, and her sister's name is Lee
Lockridge. There's so much Lee Lockridge, Laura Lockridge.
It's confusing.
Throughout the whole movie, very confusing. Also, the fact that Donna Mills and Patty Duke are twins.
But even Patty's
world?
fraternal.
Fraternal. They keep clarifying.
Fraternal doesn't mean 15-year age difference.
No, exactly. Thank you.
Also, the cast of characters in this movie.
There's so many crazy people in this movie.
Also, just in that first cold open, the lead, it's Tony Franciosa, who is this...
Who the fuck is that?
I looked him up. He was in lots of stuff in the 50s, and he was supposed to be a big star. This is on IMDb, but he had such a bad reputation for being angry and going into fits on the set. He didn't work that much and was doing movies like this by the 70s.
Well, you can tell he loves himself. He's very pleased with himself. He thinks he's very attractive. He does these weird turns to the camera. He buttons every line with a "You're welcome."
He's so suave and cocky
and
he's also
smarmy. So 70s sweaty. He's like a hangover in a sausage casing. You can just smell the high karate dripping off of him. And he's so misogynist. You can tell he hates women.
Yeah.
He pushes them around. He's awful to them.
So,
he flirts with I mean, we're talking about that, but there's this gay corner. There's this crazy, weird gay scene where there's the real swishy man who keeps the bodies, and he's like, basically flirts with him to get information out of him.
Hey, Hank, tell me, what's going on? Come on, tell me what's going on. You always know where the bodies are buried. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mark, you know how I feel about you.
I know, Hank. And that's why I'm asking.
And the coroner's there for it, though.
Oh, completely there for it.
His charms work.
In his violet tie, like he's just ready to roll. And it's like, it's so crazy that like in this universe, everyone's after this man.
And also, my guess is this was meant like Kolchak the Night Stalker, starring Jerry McGavin, which that was a series in the 70s where it started out as a TV movie. There was a vampire in Chicago and he was a reporter and he was going to get to the bottom of this. And then it was so popular that they made it into a series. This felt to me, this was Tony Franciosa's supposed to be his series of being this guy whose name is Higby, which is such a weird name.
So weird, so stupid, and the most asexual name too. He's like a Higby.
Right, yeah. And
gross.
Also, he's weirdly in the bar at the beginning with the friend who gets killed when Patty Duke takes the guy out to the car, which I didn't put together till later.
I didn't realize that.
That's him in the bar.
Oh.
And then the
why?
guy...
That doesn't serve any purpose
And
whatsoever.
then the guy who... I'm not even going to try to stick to the plot. We're going to jump all over the place. Pleasure yourself with this movie on YouTube. It's free and it's there for you.
It's so insanely great.
The man who gets... Because Valerie Stefan goes back to that bar and the bartender drives her home and she grabs the keys and goes into the enchanted village.
Right.
Where there's a ring of lions and tigers in small cages.
Yes, exactly.
That's the bartender from the bar. Yeah. Isn't that weird?
It's so weird, and it doesn't add up to anything, ultimately.
Exactly.
And there's just lions in cages. There's this crazy scene with animals, and there's the animal tamer who comes in, and everyone's just acting like, oh, ho, hum, her roof. And he's so bad.
I don't even like animals.
I don't like animals, and they don't like me.
I never did like this job, not from the beginning. I hate animals. The damn things don't like me either. Hell, I never even had a dog of my own.
Yeah, Mr. Oakes, but can you please tell us what you saw?
Nothing. I mean, just that poor guy laying there. Believe me, I didn't hang around looking for what did that.
But every single character in this, the Enchanted Village zookeeper, the gay coroner, June Allyson and June Lockhart are involved.
Both Junes. You thought you got them confused before.
Honey.
I've always been like, which is the Depends woman? Oh, that's June Allyson. And then June Lockhart was from
Lost in Space and the mom of Lassie for 50s people.
Yes.
And then she's still alive. She's like in her late 90s. And she was in Meet Me in St. Louis. She has been into it
as
around.
Aunt Barbara.
Exactly.
She's always been this like dowager woman. She's particularly awful in the movie.
Going back to the beginning though, with Higby, he goes back to his office.
And meets
first the hookers on the street.
They're hookers on the street who are just like cartoons, and it's like in the middle of the day,
and it's right in front of where Book Soup is now, across from Tower Records, because that's where three very aggressive, screaming at cars with cigarettes, like woo woo woo,
and but they also just look like extras from Carrie. Like they all look like they're straight up like high school girls, like PJ Souls and Nancy Allen's friends, who just 2 years later become hookers for fun.
Yeah.
And they are like, they look really healthy and great. Like
and happy to be there. And excited to pleasure men for money. So he goes in his office and we find out that Sid Caesar is the landlord.
As you do.
Makes no sense. And he's in the movie more than he needs to be. And his secretary is played by Roz Kelly, who I knew as a child as Pinky Tuscadero from Happy Days. But name is, what's her name, Drew?
Her name is Flaps. Flaps. There's a character named Flaps for no reason. Now, I mean, name a hooker that, but why are you naming like the secretary that? And she gives one of the most aggressively upsetting performances.
Look at that thermostat. He's a bear, 85 degrees, and the sun is shining.
Higby, don't touch the thermometer. I got permission from superintendent.
Yeah, but you don't got permission from me.
When One of these days, I'm gonna push that guy down the stairs.
Peace and happiness,
Woo!
perhaps.
Hot. Have some caffeine.
Oh, that's what I need.
Hey, you have a visitor inside.
It's like she's from another planet, and she learned humanity at
my
like
strong
some,
feeling,
like,
knowing
night
something.
course
I'm
that
sorry.
she didn't finish.
But nothing to link either girl to any of the earlier murders. And there was nothing to tie them to the spider thing either?
No, darling, there's nothing to tie them to the spider thing either. Mwah.
It's ticks and her, me, mer.
Which brings me to my final detail. Tonight is the last night of the full moon.
And right off the bat, they're trying to fill in more, I don't know, sort of atmosphere with like Sid Caesar keeps the heat up in the building,
Yeah,
and she's mad,
and she's
she
always
wants it,
mad
she's
and always hot, and she's always like taking off her terrible outfit, and she's wearing like a Laverne and Shirley kind of outfit
Yeah.
that most of the movie too. You're like, what is this woman doing? I was so upset by her performance. I'm not sorry, Roz. Like that you please don't ever do that to us again. I was so upset by watching her because no one in the history of people has ever behaved like she does. Her reactions are insane. It's almost, I mean, I'm coming around to like be in awe of it. Like I'm complimenting
Yeah.
how insanely
It's jaw-dropping.
like anti-human it is. It's like
The thing is, there's two different movies going on. They're trying to establish Higby as they're trying a sexy, like suave, like ladies' man who solves the crimes and really cares because he's a PI and he's always kind of at odds with Vic Morrow, the police captain. Rest in peace. And then Max Gale, who plays a character named Rags. So there's Flaps and Rags.
There's Rags and Flaps.
And Max Gale, who I always loved from Barney Miller. He's playing the exact same character in this
Okay.
movie as like a fun, good cop who's trying to help the PI out, who gives him hints about the Black Widow stuff.
Right.
And I also find him weirdly, incredibly sexy. Is that just
Really?
me? I know. I always had a thing from It's Weird. It's a childhood thing.
Yeah.
So there are two different movies going on. There's the
Right.
world of Higby and Flaps and Sid Caesar and the police. And then there's Lee and Laura Lockridge, the fraternal twins.
One of whom, so their story is, and they're very mysterious. I also love they have no scenes together, but they're always talking about like having lunch with each other. And like I talked to my
right.
sister yesterday,
And how close
I thought
they
were
are.
estranged for a while because I don't know that they're in the funeral together at the very
Yes,
beginning.
which is their mother supposedly dies.
And there maybe is some stuff, but even at the end, like you see one and you see the other. I don't know that you see them together for
They
almost
perhaps did not
ever.
cross paths.
And so they talk about each other a lot.
And let's just establish that, again, it's this theme of a lot of these movies. Patty Duke is, when she's not being, spoiler alert, Valerie Stefan with her black wig
the
and
literal spider.
Yeah, exactly. The woman who turns into a spider. She's has her hair pulled back and glasses, and she's perfectly attractive, Patty Duke. But all she has to do is shake her hair out and take off her glasses.
Right.
But of course
It's
not.
70s.
You can't
They're
do
like,
that.
We're going to put her in a bun and try to make her look like Emily Dickinson.
Yes.
And then
Donna Mills is gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
And
Donna
I have
Mills
something
never
to say
looks
about Donna Mills because I've watched a few of these movies with her in them, and she's good.
Mm-hmm.
She does this really well. She's incredibly beautiful.
of everyone in the movie, but because she also she plays every moment really for real. Like she really
does,
believes
yeah.
everything she's going through, and that is hard to do.
Also,
when your sister is a spider.
Yeah, she recently in town did a version. She did Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh, yeah,
which I wish I'd
which is
seen.
so
Which
crazy.
which supposedly it was really good. But anyway, yeah, the thing about her is like is pointed out in some of the IMDb reviews I read. She's not cognizant of all this is going on. She doesn't remember that.
Right. She's blocked it all out.
Because
there's an amazing detail that I screamed out loud laughing about, and just some side detail that doesn't add up to anything. But it's in the very beginning of the movie where she's talking to someone, maybe to Higby.
And I thought they were supposed to be concentrating on that girl, that Valerie Stefan. Why are they picking on you?
Well, first of all, I don't think they believed me when I told them why I didn't meet Frank that night.
Why didn't you meet him?
I was driving up from San Diego, and the fog got so thick I had to pull over to the side of the road and sleep in the car.
Donna Mills is going to be driving from San Diego to LA, and the fog is so thick.
Where?
On the 5, and she's going to have to pull over on the side of the road and
Camp
just
Pendleton?
sleep in a car. I laughed out loud. I was like, in what world? I also love later when they're about to go on the beach. Higby's obsessed with telling women what to do. So he's like, put on a sweater. You're going to be cold. She goes to her dresser,
her armoire in the living room.
That's in the living room, and grabs a sweater, and a giant tarantula comes out of it, and he screams, and she's like, "It's fine." So she's like a spider whisperer. You know,
also, she's like, they're everywhere out here.
They're everywhere out here on the beach.
They're not
tarantulas and Santa Monica.
Malibu, anywhere. No, and then also she takes it out to set it free at the ocean, where it's going to drown immediately.
Yeah, and exactly. Tarantulas are not aquatic.
Not as far as I know. Maybe Donna knows something we don't, because it turns out her sister is a spider,
a black widow, which is not a tarantula, which is like not even the same.
So just understand, dear listeners, that I was beating myself up for not getting all the plot points, but it's impossible.
It's impossible. You forget major chunks of the movie are happening all at the same time.
And so many different people give so much different information. There's a Native American played by actor Jeff Corey who not remotely, whose name
There's
is...
no one of color in this movie either. There's not a single person.
There's a person named
white.
Popeye. There's a scene at a gym. Tell the gymnastics scene while I look up this other thing.
So if I can remember this, it's so crazy. So first of all, it's clearly a 45-minute Twilight Zone episode that they've tried to stretch into an hour and 45 minutes. So there are all these diversions in the movie. They're just creating more to do. So Higbee gets on all these insane adventures. Like he gets a clue, and instead of being told the answer, they're like, here's a name, and it's like the source is a wino, and the wino's name is somebody's. He gets a full name, and then he goes and tracks down, and then the other person says his nickname is Popeye, and so he's on the streets. He just goes. And he goes back to Sid Caesar, and Sid Caesar's literally counting money with the hookers.
Because he bailed out of jail like he owns them. Is he their pimp too? It makes no sense.
And then he's like, Popeye, hey, it'll cost ya. And it's like this whole scene where Higbee has to pay off Sid Caesar to get information on Popeye.
Who's supposedly a drunken homeless person, but no.
He's actually a girls' gymnastics coach.
Sure. And he's played by this actor, I forget his name, you can look him up, who throughout the 60s and 70s played every like evil masseur or circus strongman throughout the time.
Yes. And he also doesn't at all look like a wino, unlike the entire rest of the cast of this movie.
He's clearly sober now.
Yeah. And so he's
responsible for dozens of young women.
There's this really awkward scene with this little girl, and she gets a full close-up, and she's horrible. Not as bad as Jennifer, though, the daughter.
Oh, she was all dubbed the whole time.
The entire time.
We haven't
Jennifer
talked about
is
her
Donna
yet.
Mills' daughter. No,
we don't know whose daughter she is.
It implies that she's
Patty Duke's daughter, but they're telling her it's her aunt. And then Olga, June Allyson, you think is the mother. They call her Granny, but no, she was their nanny.
Right.
And then June Allyson, who we think is dead at the beginning, is discovered in an attic room in the house.
Trembling.
Anyway.
Gets one bad scene before she...
But sure, back to what makes sense. A girl's gymnastic coach.
Gymnastic coach, and she does this really bad line delivery. And then there's
a wide... Hey, mister, what are you looking for?
Hey, mister, who you looking for?
Hiya, sweetheart. I'm looking for a man by the name of Popeye. Do you know where I can find him?
Sure, I'll tell him you're here.
Okay, thank you.
And then you see a wide shot of her do a full gymnastics leap and tumble.
A balance beam on the horse, whatever it is.
And
jumps
landing. And then it cuts over to Popeye. And then
she goes against Popeye, but I looked it up, and that is the director's daughter.
That's exactly why that moment's in there. Because you're like, why am I watching a girls' gymnastics class?
Also, it's directed by the same director as Burnt Offerings, which is actually a really good movie, but also has the secret old lady in the room.
Yes.
There's a lot of...
And then also, spoiler, when June... God, it's so confusing. Lockhart jumps out of the window. There's also a shot that is so clearly a man.
And in slow motion.
Slow motion. It's a man. It is a hot man, stunt man, who is, they didn't even try to make look like.
Didn't even try. And then also maybe not slow motion if you're going to have a close-up of his face in lady makeup and a wig that doesn't match June Lockhart's wig.
Yeah.
And that Peru Mansion was where they shot that, and that's also in the movie Wait Until Dark, which we featured here on this podcast with another guest. It's in a lot of these movies because apparently they just started renting it out like crazy in the 70s. But yeah, so, and also when they finally get to the house there and June Lockhart's lying there dead.
Higbee? Higbee, I know who that is. That's the lady in the clippings, the mother.
Mrs. Lockridge?
Uh-huh.
But I thought you said she was dead.
She is now.
Oh,
thanks, Flaps.
Comedy.
Also, I didn't even talk about the boathouse yet. Has there ever been a movie that a boathouse is introduced that evil doesn't come from it, or something bad goes down, a rape or a murder?
Yeah,
Well, this one
has the boathouse as well, but it also is poorly introduced, and you don't really understand why everything happens there.
This feels like maybe the movie was based on a really long novel they tried to condense, but it wasn't, as far as I know.
But then there's the backstory that you find out about why why Patty Duke is the way that she is.
So these twins yesterday, but slowly there's all this like why the cultures. First they say Chinese, where like ladies turn into black widows.
The Chinese tell of an enchanting woman who appeared to travelers when they were lost and took them to a cave to rest. While they slept, she would transform herself into a giant spider, sting them, wrap them in her web, and feed on them at her leisure. And there's others, Mark. And there's some North American Indians who had similar beliefs. It's all in here. It's quite an education.
And then later it's a Native American. He goes, visits a Native American. But first they find out that, please tell Drew.
That both girls were in a plane crash that killed their father, right?
Yes.
Killed their father. And
in the Sierras.
Yes. And one of the babies.
The mother had the baby, then had the babies in the
plane or like
on the ground, I think, by herself. She had she had twins. She birthed twins out of herself.
Oh, right. Yes.
And then
they were all on a plane. And the father dies, and one of the babies is...
Well, no, the plane crashes.
She
has the babies out in the Sierras by herself, and then one...
Oh, okay. In my mind...
That was my takeaway.
My takeaway was that the babies were just stuck on the plane for a while with the dead father.
But the mother was alive. Who's June Allyson?
Right.
No, I'm sorry, June Lockhart. Yeah.
God, this is so crazy. But the reveal is one of the babies is very badly bitten by insects. Dum bum bum.
Yeah.
And then you find out later the insects are spiders.
Spiders. You found it.
So one of the babies is repeatedly bitten by black widow spiders, while the other baby
is laying
just
next to it.
Supposedly.
So also, I want to point like when he goes to this like where the family home up north in the Sierras near where the plane crash happened. And it's like this ruined vineyard and home, and he meets this Jeff Corey playing a Native American whose name is Aspa Soldado. Aspa Soldado, and he tells the story about the Native American thing.
We are talking of old legends, aren't we?
Yes?
The Spider Woman. A woman who sometimes, in moments of great stress, takes the form of a giant spider and kills.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's it.
It's quite colorful.
There's so much information about the spider thing runs in the female line. And it's not until a woman of that line gets bitten by black widow spiders that then during the full moon, which finally Flaps or some idiot figures out, I think it's Flaps figures out that all these murders could be Rags. It could be one of the goats at the petting zoo in the Enchanted Village. It could be
know. It could be Queen at the coroner's office.
It could be June Lockhart, June Allyson, or it could be June Squibb. We don't. It's a June somewhere.
There's a June.
That all the murders happen during the full moon. Because in the movie it feels like it's 2 weeks, but like there's enough months go by for all these murders. Also, the spider puts you. You don't see until the end where Patty Duke goes from like. She's wrestling with her split personality that she's used. She uses Valerie Stefan to not deal with the spider trauma.
Oh, please. Please. No! 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 Please, no!
She goes to be sexy in shades of Neely O'Hara and like bra and panties.
And the lipstick, the red lipstick that she leaves out on the makeup counter later.
And her wig in her drawer that anyone could find.
Yes.
And then it pans down to, and what do we see?
We see the most disturbing, vibrating, trembling paper
red
abdomen, hourglass
on her right above her panty line,
right above her hoo-ha.
Yeah,
and it's breathing.
Yeah, it's really well done
really
in a way.
Disturbing,
yeah,
in a very crude way. But you're like, how did they get that to happen? Because it's this life force. It's almost jellyfishian, or something like
something. So then it all shit starts to go down. I was going to be mad because in some of these movies you don't see the monster because they couldn't afford it.
Right.
But, oh boy, you see it.
You see it
in that motherfucking boathouse. Yeah.
It's not unlike Multiple Maniacs with
the
lobster.
Giant
lobster divine, because it's that same sort of idea of like all of a sudden there's this giant fucking
June Allyson knows the story, and she tries to like at the end you think she's good after she's made a kill Patty Duke as Spider. She's like, oh, I don't want to do it again. And June Allyson, you think, is going to burn her with that lantern because it's also established the only way you can get rid of that is to burn it with fire. There's no other way.
Yes, and that's a big moment. No guns. You can shoot because apparently spiders. You're impenetrable to bullets.
Yeah.
So that's how it is. No, it's just fire.
And also the boathouse isn't just like the boathouse in Little Darlings or the boathouse in like any other movie. It's a giant full home with a porch and a pool table.
Why it all is in two houses. To me.
It's also such a mess, though.
Yeah.
So she wraps. Olga, June Allyson is about to kill her, and then Valerie Stefan comes out. She's like, "Oh, you think you can fool stupid Lara? You cannot fool me." And so she puts her in a web. And then she puts Donna Mills in a web, and Higbee comes in, and Donna Mills, in no world. Also, Donna Mills, oops, I slept with Lee's boyfriend, too. Remember that?
Right, that whole little detail. On the cruise ship.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
No, but I mean, also in her Malibu house, he comes over to her after the date.
Right, just for no reason. Just
when they're dancing.
Right. Oh, exactly. I totally forgot about that.
Laura, let's dance.
Not right now, it's too fast.
I'll bet Lee still likes to move.
No, thank you, Jeff.
Come on, I'm not going to take no for an answer.
Only an hour, 37 minutes, and it could not be more jammed-packed.
Yes.
If you get tired of one character, don't worry. There's going to be the librarian in the Sierras who's like, that burned down with the East Wing fire to entertain you. Or a hooker comes back, or you're waylaid by a June, or the terrible daughter Jennifer. So, of course, the only person that doesn't die in the web is Donna Mills. And what I was going to say was, in no world would Donna Mills ever want to date Higbee.
No.
And so there's
and we have to talk about the music as well. There's this awful music that comes in.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, you know,
bum 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 bum.
It's like that bum 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 bum.
Just know when you hear it, it's constantly. There's
a slower version of it. They use the same, like, what is that, 4-note progression?
They paid a composer for one sting
movie.
And they're going to say, redo it 85 times for every different thing.
If you're a fan of This Is Us, it's the same conceit of just like blam, 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 blam. That's what This Is Us.
I'm delighted to report I've never seen This Is Us.
Oh, you're a much better person.
So Flaps, they get to them. So the last minute, of course, Higbee gets there. He rescues Donna Mills, and they have fire, so they burn the spider. And the spider.
He has a lamp that he just tosses onto the spider's back, and it explodes.
Yeah,
and so then.
It's so funny when you go into IMDb, and this is true of all these movies that I've gone over, there are reviews from, I think, older people that are like, this is the best mystery I've ever seen. Instead of the blood and guts and violence they have today. I'm like, no, it's crazy.
Here's the thing. When people talk about the good old days, it's like, watch this movie. The acting was awful for the most part. Right. Like, Roz Kelly would never get a job now. Like, there's no way.
Well, she hasn't.
No one would ever say. But now we're so much more sophisticated as audiences. We're like, no one thinks that's good, what you're doing. Right. No one will accept that now.
Right.
So don't say that, like, oh God, it used to be so good. All these old movies were so good. No, they were not.
There were
always been trash.
Really kooky movies. So the denouement is, of course, Higby pulls Donna Mills out of the giant burning boathouse.
Yes.
Which in
and
real
they
life,
casually just walk out the front door.
They walk up and they watch it burn, and then they leave, and then cut to Donna's gorge, where the money comes from, where we don't know anything about these people.
Just a white woman in a white sweater coat.
Yeah, in a Malibu wooden beach house.
It's just casual.
And they're with Jennifer, we don't know if she ever finds out that Patty's really her mother, but then
we
what
don't
happens
ever really find out that Patty's her mother. We imply.
We think because at the end she goes down to play in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
She's like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old girl.
It's
Higby
so creepy
and Donna
how
Mills,
they like look at her body and the camera catches her.
And they go down and she turns around to wave and it pans down. And like no one saw this before, she's got the same matching
red
pulsing
vulva, paper thin, right above.
Hourglass thing right above her lady part. It's like set up for a sequel, which sadly we never got.
We never got it.
There's a lot of loose ends. There's a lot of.
Patty Duke, if you're a fan of Lee Grant and Karen Black, Patty Duke's channeling both of them in this movie.
Oh, that's
as
true.
Well.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Lee Grant going on in this with that wig on and I kept forgetting it was Patty Duke because I was like, she's doing these other like 70s actresses.
Yeah.
And where are those actresses now? Like who would, I don't even know who would play that kind of thing.
I have to think about that.
Of like that woman.
Well, Julianne Moore could in a weird sort of a stylized movie. But yeah, I don't know. They were very specific. And we have another Karen Black movie on the podcast too.
Oh, yes.
But you would recommend this, right? Still, it's so much fun.
100%.
Yeah, okay.
I'm so glad I saw it. And I encourage everyone to immediately rush out and check it out.
Drew, thank you so much. Where can we find you on the social media?
I'm on the Twitter and Instagram and
at Drew Droege.
At Drew Droege. My Instagram is Drew_Droege, but you'll put my name in, you'll find me.
You're findable.
Findable.
Oh, I'm Sam Pancake, and my social media is The Sam Pancake on Instagram, Sam Pancake on Twitter, or you can follow me on Facebook. Next week's movie will be Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, starring Kim Darby and Jim Hutton, and my special guest will be Adam Dugas. If you want to watch this movie before next week, go to facebook.com/Monday Afternoon Movie or just go to mondayafternoonmovie.com. This has been a Table Cakes production. To find out more about Table Cakes, go to patreon.com/tablecakes. I'm Sam Pancake, and thank you for watching with me. And before I go, I'd just like to quote the great Roz Kelly as Flaps. I think she said it best when she said, good night.
Hey, listen, Lee, I've got an idea. I've just about finished everything I got to do today, and I could really use a few laughs. Why don't we have a couple of drinks, some dinner, and we'll forget Valerie, Stefan, and everything, okay? What do you say?
You're on.
Okay.
I could use a few laughs.
Let's go.